Jose Mourinho was the biggest reason you chose to join Chelsea. You won the treble with him at Inter. What was it like working with Jose?
It's a real pleasure to team up with him once again and to team up with a great team.
Is he the best manager, or certainly one of the best managers or coaches that you've ever worked with?
He's one of the best managers. It was a great pleasure to work with him at Inter. And it will be a great pleasure to work with him at Chelsea. However, a few years ago, I met a man named Luis Aragonés. It was a crucial moment in my life where I had to take the right direction. And thanks to him, I did it. I was about to sign this very afternoon at Arsenal, and maybe I would have never been the player that I am today. He picked me for Mallorca, and later I signed for Barcelona. That decision changed everything in my career.
Obviously, you had the opportunity to join Arsenal. Was English football something that you've always wanted to be involved in? You've always wanted to play in England? Has it been like an ambition to come here?
Jouer dans tous les grands championnats a toujours fait partie de mes ambitions.
Playing each and every big championship has always been part of my ambition. When you're young, you dream about becoming a footballer. And when you become one, because in Africa, being a footballer is already a success, you want to measure yourself to the very best. England is one of the best championships in the world. So it was something that I've always wanted to do.
You've been working on your autobiography, which is being published in a very interesting style. And this volume, which is just being released in the UK, is called Birth of a Champion, which I've read and found very interesting and unique. Now, tell me, Samuel, the idea behind the book. You're a comic character.
Parce que le langage, il est plus facile.
This is in a language that kids can understand easily. Young people are really curious about comic strips. My first intention was really to project my story and passion to the children.
Do you think this is something that perhaps could inspire young children to have a dream and follow that dream?
C'est mon souhait, car
it's my wish, because I don't want the story to die with me. I want the story to go on and on and on. This story must never end.
I mean, having seen this first volume, you must be absolutely delighted with it.
I'm happy because that's my story.
You're from a city called Douala. What was it like growing up there?
I come from New Bel, a district of Douala in Cameroon. Some moments were tough, but I had a lot of moments of joy.
When was the first time you played football, Samuel? Because your parents they didn't approve of it, did they?
In my mom's belly, I was already playing football.
You know, your parents obviously wanted you to do well at school and to get top grades, but you're a little bit of a rebel and you went out and played football anyway. You'd even jump out of the classroom window, apparently, to play.
Il est certain que à l'époque, le football n'était pas la solution idéale pour la réussite. Les parents.
Back in those days, football was not really a career plan. Parents were thinking, and they are still thinking, that school should come first. Luckily for me, I have always had a rebel behavior, to do what I want, and football was my dream. I only wanted to play football and was trying to find a way to pursue my passion.
Obviously, you had a very modest upbringing. You had the basics. Your dad lost his job as an accountant, and your mum was selling fish at the market. Was it difficult for your family at this time, making ends meet?
It was really difficult. There were days where we actually were trying to calculate the very moments to eat, because we were only capable to afford 1 meal a day. So you have to identify this very moment as to not starve for the rest of the day. But as far as I can remember this period, I was a happy boy. I'm still that boy.
I mean, obviously your mum used to have to sell fish, as we said. So did you have to eat a lot of fish? And did you ever used to have to help your mum with her work? Was there lots of chores that you had to do?
Oui,
I ate a lot of fish. Obviously, during the weekend, I was helping her, because if I was helping, I'd then get the opportunity to be allowed to play football. It was like trading one favor for another.
I mean, obviously one of your biggest heroes was the great Roger Milla. What was your earliest memories of him as a player, and how did he inspire you?
My first memory of Milla is a game between Cameroon and Zambia in Douala. Normally, all the games of the national team were in Yaoundé, but that time it was happening in Douala, my home city. We went to the stadium at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Voilà.
The game was taking place at 3 p.m. and the stadium was already packed.
La légende vivante
Then the living legend arrived on the
est
pitch,
présente.
Rojamila himself, and he was dreamy.
In the book here, it says that a person approached you and asked you to sell your mother's jewellery for money to get taxi rides to training. Did you actually do that? And if you did, do you now sort of look back at that and sort of regret it?
Tout ce que j'ai pu faire aujourd'hui pour mes parents, c'est
All I can do for my parents now
les apporter le sourire qu'ils m'ont toujours donné.
is give them back the smile they have put on my face, because without them,
Parce que
I will not be even here with you today. Above all,
surtout pour ma pauvre maman,
my
sans
poor
elle,
mother,
je crois que je n'aurais
I don't
jamais eu
even think
l'opportunité
that I'd
d'avoir
have
le courage
ever
de
had the
football.
courage of pursuing football without her.
Elle s'est sacrifiée pour
She
toute ma
made a
famille,
lot
toute
of
ma famille.
sacrifices for our family,
Elle s'est sacrifiée pour moi personnellement,
even for eating
juste pour nous apporter
or
un
paying
bourse
school bill.
que je trouve déjà énorme.
It's just
Même pour
extraordinary.
l'école.
Can I ask you, Samuel, what are the biggest qualities you learned from your mother and your father?
Oh, mon maman, elle est très tolérante.
My mom is really tolerant, but it doesn't mean that she is weak.
Par contre, mon père, il comprend très vite chaque
My
situation.
dad always
Et,
had a clear understanding of the
en
situations.
certaines situations, il a toujours la solution.
He always has the
Donc,
solution.
il n'est jamais
He never
fâché.
looks angry or offended.
Now, obviously, you love your country. You've won more than 100 caps for your country. And I understand this week you decided to call an end to your international career. Perhaps you could just tell us a few words about that and your decision.
Oh, je ne fais pas de commentaires sur.
I don't want to comment about the national team. I love Africa. I love my country. And I'll love it until my last day. I will still love it once I'll be dead. I also love all those people who love and support me because of the football.
You've only signed a one-year contract, haven't you, with Chelsea? Obviously, you're looking ahead this season, but is it possible that you might stay longer than the 1 year?
Mon but d'abord, c'est de très
My
bien
first
faire.
goal is to do my job really, really well this season. Help my team to win each and every game's competitions we're involved in.
Nous sommes engagés.
Then we will see what the future brings.
What would you consider a successful season for Chelsea this year?
Il faut gagner.
We must win.
Obviously, you had to fight very hard to get to where you are now, and you came from obviously humble beginnings. Do you think that makes you very grounded as a person today?
Plus que les autres, je ne sais pas, parce que je ne sais pas d'où
For
ils
the
viennent et
others,
comment ils
I
le
don't
vivent.
know,
Mais
because I don't know where they are coming from and how they live. I have actually a lot of problems because people don't understand how, with all the blessing God gives to me materially, I can still be living simply, being accessible and available for people. This is how I was raised and how I live, and I don't see the point of not sharing the blessing God gives to me. I will never change.